Matthew, beginning with verse 1. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we have observed its star in its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who is the shepherd, my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. And then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child. And when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. And then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another route. So ends the reading from our gospel lesson. This Sunday is the first Sunday of 2021. Not only is it the first Sunday in the new year, we are celebrating Epiphany, even though that will take place on Wednesday. And for that reason, I think we should keep the nativity scene up in front of Cape and Bridge Church, and all the lights are glistening through this week in recognition of the specialness of this week. This is the Sunday in which the church calendar asks us to celebrate the Magi's visit to the Christ child. We call it thus Epiphany because it is a recognition of the manifestation of Christ to the Gentiles. Translated, that has something to do with the Magi. We know that for the church, the word Epiphany is referencing the visit of the wise men who were Gentiles in search of the child. But Epiphany also has a place in our secular world as well. And if you have not had the chance to look at Terry Lynn's Sunday school lesson for today, she does an extraordinary job in sharing that, the meaning of Epiphany. To say that someone has had an epiphany means that they have had a sudden understanding, that aha moment that many of us have experienced. Being the eternal optimist, I want to leave 2020 and all that we experienced behind and look forward to the new year, a year that will be far kinder to us. Obviously, I wrote that before I heard Jane's reflections, and I think it good also to hold on to those positive things, those gentler times in 2020 that we experienced as well, as memories that make the year more complete, I think. But hopefully, I think as we go forward in 2021, we will have a year that is as bright as the star that guided the Magi. And as we look at that story from Matthew, may we too have an epiphany for what the story reveals to you and me. The Gospel of Matthew recounts the story of the Magi in chapter 2. While most Christmas nativity scenes have these wise men kneeling before the babe in the manger, most Bible scholars will tell us that they probably were not there at the actual birth. Their arrival was later. We are told that the Magi went first to the palace in Jerusalem, seeking the child. They went there following the star, his star, they claimed. Maybe they had known what the prophet Isaiah had foretold centuries before when he penned, "Arise, shine, your light has come. The Lord will shine upon you. God's glory will appear over you." And they saw this star as a sign that the Lord had indeed come. Their journey in search of the child would infer that they knew the prophecies of the Messiah had indeed become a reality and that Christ was among the people. And so they went to the palace. Logic would dictate that this king would be there, but the child was not there. I thought of the many times that I was so certain that I was seeking God in the right place, only to discover that God was not there. And then the words of Jeremiah comes to us once more. My thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. The Magi were seeking him where they thought he should be. But this new king would not be in the splendor of the court, in the seat of power and wealth. This new king would be the polar opposite of Herod's court, not in the splendor and power, but in the ordinary world would the king of Israel be found. Not finding the child in Jerusalem, they waited until the chief priest and legal experts could ascertain where this new king might be. And off they went to Bethlehem. As knowledgeable as the Magi were, and they were indeed bright, they recognized their own limitations and waited for those far more knowledgeable than they on Jewish prophecy. Not only did they wait to get the information, they accepted it and used it in the pursuit of finding the child. That is indeed a lesson for all of us, to realize we do not know everything, that leaning on others can be fruitful and can enrich our faith as well. And find him they did. We are told they were filled with joy when they saw the star hovering over the place where the child was. They honored him by presenting him with costly gifts, gifts suitable for one such as he. Understand that these men were not of the Jewish faith, but nonetheless they recognized this baby as the one for whom Israel had been looking. Maybe they could recognize the gem before them because they were not of the faith. But the thing of greater importance here is that they bowed down and worshiped him. This might well be the first interfaith event recorded in the New Testament. And they did so joyfully, we are told. Their joy may well be because they had found the Christ child, but I like to think it goes much deeper than that. I like to think that they saw in this child the hope for all creation, that this tiny baby must have been of great value in their eyes, for their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh were costly gifts, worthy of a king. The story of the Magi has many gifts for us as well. The gift of reminding us that God is sometimes best found in the ordinary, the day-to-day encounters in our life. Something that Jane spoke about in the reflection that she gave just a few minutes ago. There is the gift of better understanding the foundation of our faith as we remember for whom the Christ came. Spoiler alert, he came for all creation. And we should be a joy-filled people. The relationship that you and I have with God is made possible by this tiny babe whose birth we celebrated. And that is indeed a cause to be joy-filled. As joy-filled as the Magi were so long ago when they found him. Lastly, this story reminds us to offer our best gifts in recognition of all that the Christ child represents. Creation being reconciled to our Creator by our Creator. Unless we think we know it all, this story can be, for many of us, can pretty much recite the main points by heart. Let us remember that the God we serve constantly provides us with new insights. Remember, the story had a specific ending. The Magi, being warned not to return to Herod, went home by another route. We too must be open to the Spirit's continually calling for us to grow, for us to expand our horizons. May 2021 be a year of continuing to seek and to find. And may it be a year of enlightenment and growth as we continue to follow the one whom the Magi found. And all of God's children said, amen. And my friends, my prayer this day is that you and I be a blessing to all we meet, and may we find a blessing in that. My second one is that technology gets better and these snags are taken care of. Take care and peace. Bye-bye.